Hi everyone, welcome back to Turn This Way with me, your host, Jennifer Radkey. I've been thinking a lot lately about how we don't give ourselves enough credit for our ability to persevere and benefit from challenges. So today, we're diving into something that most of us avoid at all costs: struggle. There is undeniable beauty that can be found in the process of growth, and challenges aren't only to be expected, but should be embraced. It's time to reframe how we think about struggle. One important note before I get started: when I discuss struggle in this episode, I am not including major trauma or mental illness, although there are plenty of stories of growth occurring through these as well. I'm going to start with sharing a personal story of struggle during a time of collective global struggle, so don't mind me if I get a little bit vulnerable with you here today. I'm talking about the COVID years. As most of you know, my husband Doug and I own a hospitality consulting business, KRG Hospitality, and we specialize in startups. Before COVID, business was on an upward swing. We were making plans to make a big out-of-country move as a family, and the future was looking positive. Then March 2020 hit. I'll never forget, Doug and I were in New York at a conference the week before the world shut down. We went to a Broadway show, we were riding the subway, we come home, and the whole world just stops. And our whole lives and future plans were thrown into uncertainty. If you remember, one of the first industries to be shut down was hospitality and tourism. Restaurants were shuttered for anything but takeout for months on end. And when they were allowed to open, it was with heavy restrictions. Everything on our end went dead. There were no new inquiries. And as the jobs we had been working on wrapped up, we were left with no work, no income coming in. Not only were we devastated for our industry and our friends in the industry, but for our personal situation as well. We had to dip into our hard-earned savings to make ends meet. For the first time in our lives, we accepted government assistance. Our plans for moving were put on indefinite hold. The fear was real. The helplessness a new feeling for an entrepreneurial family who had always made our way. Real struggle, both internal and external, was a daily occurrence now. Some nights we talked for hours about how the business could survive this. Other nights we were silent because we just didn't know what to say. There were tears, and there was anger at a world we couldn't control. We could have folded. We could have closed the business and searched for jobs. We chose instead to fill this void with growth and to hold on and wait it out, and boy did we hold on and wait it out. We had worked too hard. The dream was still too big to shut down. We were lucky in that we had each other to move through the struggle with. Doug gave free interviews to news agencies and radio stations about the impact of closures on the hospitality industry. He joined others in the industry to create a plan on how to move forward once COVID was no longer the threat it had been. We added our U.S. partner David during that time. Doug wrote his second book, Hacking the New Normal. He created plans for new restaurant, hotel, and bar concepts to keep his consulting skills sharp. I obtained my coaching certification during this time, spending hours of training online while sitting in a practically deserted office space. And then, as we all know, things started slowly returning to normal, whatever that normal may look like. I know you all have your own struggle stories. Maybe yours looks something like ours, but the lesson is that the time passed regardless of how you chose to spend it. The struggle was undeniable. It's what you do with the struggle that either changes you for the better or worse. We were devastated by this time. It set us back financially for years. But our personal growth was the opposite. We became stronger, more resilient, more able to adapt to adversity without folding. That's what acceptance of struggle will do. Acceptance and determination to make it work for you in whatever way possible. Oh, thanks for listening to that. So, if struggle is an inevitable part of life and growth, why do we resist it? Well, we live in a culture that glorifies ease. Think about it. Advertisements promise quick fixes, social media highlights only the wins, and we're conditioned to believe that if something feels hard, it must be wrong. Quick fixes abound. Follow this routine for instant results. Do these 3 easy steps to be as successful as I am. We all know the messaging, but that's not how growth works. I get it. Struggle is uncomfortable. It triggers fear and self-doubt. We start asking questions like, am I good enough? Or why is this happening to me? The truth is you are good enough, and this isn't just happening to you. It's happening to everyone in some form or another. Avoiding struggle often leads to staying stuck. When we resist challenges, we're choosing comfort over growth, and that choice keeps us exactly where we are. So, let's flip the script. What if struggle isn't the problem, but the path? What if the challenges we face are actually clues that we're on the brink of a breakthrough? Here's the cool part. There's science to back this up. Our brains are wired for growth, but growth only happens when we're challenged. This is where the concept of neuroplasticity comes in. Your brain literally rewires itself as you learn and adapt to new experiences. Think of it like strength training for your mind. Just like your muscles tear and rebuild stronger after a workout, your brain grows stronger when you tackle tough situations. If you have some spare time on your hands, look into neuroplasticity and the effect things like mindfulness, resilience, and gratitude have on the actual physical makeup of your brain. Trust me, it is fascinating. Let's put it into perspective with a metaphor. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The steep parts, the ones that leave you out of breath and questioning why you started, those are where you build the strength to reach the summit. No challenge, no growth. Let's look at some real life examples because I'm sure if you're like me, you love reading about inspirational and motivational people. So J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before someone took a chance on Harry Potter. And she wrote the first Harry Potter book while living in her car. Walt Disney faced multiple financial failures and professional setbacks. His first animation studio went bankrupt, and he was even fired from a newspaper for not being creative enough. It was his innovation and passion for animation and the creation of Mickey Mouse that began his massive success story. These stories remind us that success is rarely a straight line. It's the result of resilience and determination in the face of obstacles. But you don't need to be a global icon to benefit from struggle. Think about a time when you faced a personal challenge and came out stronger. Maybe it was learning a new skill, starting a business, or navigating a tough season in life. Those moments shaped you into who you are today. So, how do we stop avoiding struggle and start embracing it? Well, if you've been listening to Turn This Way, you know that I like to give you actionable items. Here are 4 practical steps you can take today. Number 1, reframe the narrative. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Shifting your mindset turns struggles into opportunities. Step 2, break it down. Big challenges can feel overwhelming, so break them into smaller, manageable steps. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Step 3, reflect on your wins. Look back at past struggles and identify what you learned or how you grew. This will remind you that you're capable of handling tough situations. And step 4, lean on your support system. Whether it's friends, family, or a group like my mastermind, The Collective, having people in your corner makes all the difference. Remember, struggle is feedback, not failure. It's a sign that you're pushing beyond or being pushed beyond your comfort zone and stepping into your potential. Let's recap. Struggle is an essential part of growth. It builds resilience, sharpens your skills, and pushes you closer to your goals. The next time you're facing a challenge, I want you to pause and ask yourself, how is this shaping me into the person I'm meant to be? Just like how Doug and I did during those COVID years when our business went completely quiet. How can we make this time work for us to turn us into the people we are meant to be? This week, I challenge you to embrace one struggle you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a tough conversation, a new project, or taking a leap of faith. Whatever it is, face it head on and trust that it's leading you to something better. Thank you for spending time with me today on Turn This Way. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend or leave a review. It helps us reach more people just like you. If you are facing a particular struggle today that you would benefit from being coached on, go ahead and reach out to me on social media or visit www.krghospitality.com to speak with me directly. Until next time, remember, growth is on the other side of struggle. Keep turning toward it.